Hey, wonderful people, a pleasant afternoon to you. So, I saw something that I really am not surprised by, but I felt good seeing it because I like good news. I celebrate good things. And, when people are celebrating good things and victories, I try to celebrate with them. So, the caption says Bolts, as in Usain Bolt's Foundation, donates $6.1 million to rural schools for champs. And, it continues to say Kingston, Jamaica, the Usain Bolt Foundation has donated $6.1 million to 6 rural high schools to support their preparation for the Inter-Secondary School Sports Association, ISSA, Boys and Girls Athletics Championships, CHAMS 2025. Bolt, through his partnership with Puma, will provide spikes to support high school athletes, while some schools will receive direct financial assistance. This donation will assist in covering essential expenses such as housing, food, and transportation for student athletes as they prepare for the competition. And I'm really, really elated and excited by this because was it last year when some of the rural students had to come into Kingston to stay for, I think it may have been champs, or I don't know if it was Gibson Relay or champs. I don't want to confuse the two, but one of those major sporting event. And, we saw this sort of hullabaloo that took place. I mean, it was bad. It's almost like people had to catch them in their homes. At one point, it was said, through the grapevine, allegedly that some had to stay in motels, and for those who may not understand the motels, it's almost like saying they had to stay at back road, sort of a situation. Yeah. And that was very, very sad, especially for the rural students. Maybe those in Kingston, they're fine because you're in Kingston, you don't really need to stay anywhere. So you're good to go. You know what I mean? It's just to have transportation to take you to the venue. That's it. And whatever other essentials that you may need. So I'm really, really happy where this is concerned. It says among the 6 recipients is Bolt's alma mater, William Knibb Memorial High School, which received $2 million towards efforts to ensure the athletics team is well prepared for the highly anticipated event set to take place from March 25 to March 29. Let me see if any other, yes. And it says, since becoming a professional athlete, Bolt has consistently given back to William Knibb, with the school benefit from gear and equipment annually. The other schools benefiting from this year's donation are Green Island High. Where's Green Island again? Is it Lucy? I think so. I think Green Island is. Magotty High, which would be in St. Elizabeth, New Forest High, Sydney Pagan High, and Lacovia High. Speaking on the initiative, Bolt said, being able to support not just my school, but also other schools and young athletes through my foundation is something I do not take for granted. I know firsthand what track and field has done for my life. And I hope that through this initiative, we can help change the lives of these students, young athletes, in a positive way. You guys see why God has blessed this fellow? Do you see why God has continued to bless this fellow, even amidst the SSL scandal? And don't worry, one day he will get back double or triple for that saga. He will get it back. God will provide a way. He will make a way where there seems to be no way. I'm confident in that for him. I'm confident in that for him. I've always heard that this fella is super kind. Always heard that this fellow is super kind. Now, people may say, oh, it's Bolt's Foundation and it's sponsorship from stakeholders and all. It doesn't matter. He could have not joined in. He could have, given his own voice to say, no, we can just use it unless it's a dire need, and or they just give to, or they could just contribute to William Knibb, the school that he went to. The reality is that this fellow is amazing. He reminds me of Jacob. Because of Jacob, his uncle Laban was blessed. I don't know if you understand that there are some people when they come in your midst, blessing and favor follows Jacob in the Bible. You know, Jacob the Ginal. his mother was a Ginal. Her son, his brother, when he went to live with his uncle Laban because he wanted Rachel to be his wife, and him get back Ginal by the uncle, and him push on Leah, the first daughter, who never was so good looking. You know, when they talk about her eyes, you know, your eyes tells a lot about your beauty. And, you know, and him have to wait 14 years basically in totality to get the woman that he wanted. All right? And even though, you know, he have to pay the consequences of his generalship, the reality is that because of him, Laban, his uncle, business boomed. The sheep and all of these animals, this business boomed because of him. And you can't blame him too much on it. I mean, if your mother is inveigling you and you feel good that you're the preferred child for your mother, while Esau was preferred for the father. Because he was more like the father. He was more homebody like the mother. You know, he paid his dues, but the reality is because of him, he was blessed. Similarly, Usain Bolt. It is like everything that this fellow touches turns to gold. Will he not go through trials? Of course he will. He's human like everybody else. So the situation with the SSL saga, it doesn't speak to him being blessed or the lack thereof. You know, blessed people will face trials and tribulations as well, but they will eventually come out on top. And he's a remarkable human being because he could have been the scandalous type to make the country really look bad, especially when the media overseas is pressuring him to know that his own home country has done this to him. But big up to Usain Bolt and the foundation for doing this. It is remarkable because I know that a number of students have suffered greatly and gravely. They have not matriculated to the top, let us put it that way, athletically. You know, if there's such a word, because of lacking in sponsorship and proper support. I never forgot years ago when Asafa Powell had stated that he had to run, where they talk about how he only run for the money races, but he knew what, that's part and parcel why he had to. He said he had to take out some of that money to fund other students, other athletes that were coming up. So they don't understand. Sometimes you see people's story, or you see their glory rather, you don't know the story. You see their glory, but you don't know their story. And big up to Asafa for doing something like that as well. You know, giving back, doing his own best, planting, you know, seeds into good soil, helping people. That's always a good soil. Once you help other people, always, you cannot lose. You will get back many folds over in due season, not when you think you're going to get it. It will come back to you. And I pray God's richest, choicest, finest, wisest, highest and best on Bolt and his foundation upon his entire family. Because this is a fantastic, a fantabulous, a splendacious, a splendiferous human being. One who is just amazing. Wonderful, wonderful human being. You know, and I know he's going to get it many folds over his foundation. And I know he has a passion to help people because he knew where he's coming from. And somebody decided, his manager is not the manager I was thinking of, but I guess his manager as well. But I was thinking of his coach when I said manager. You know, took him under his wings. And you see Usain Bolt today. Usain Bolt often gives credit to him. Usain Bolt said, I physically run, but mentally it's my coach that ran. So he paid homage to his coach, and I'm sure his support team. He's always a grateful human being, and that's part and parcel. Well, for me, I don't think he will ever lose out financially, ever again. He knows those days, and those days are over with. No more to be seen. So big up to the foundation. Big up to Usain Bolt. Many, many blessings and favor be upon him, you know, and I know that SSL money will be returned many folds over. Anyway, guys, you know what to do with TikTok and YouTube. Subscribe and give me one of those lions, please. Thank you.